Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ninth episode of the PokeSales official podcast. I am your host here, Rocco Mitchell, and I am today here. Joining me here today is the amazing Gonzo, for very influential person in the Pokemon space and someone that you've seen on Instagram and all that type of stuff. So, without further ado, if you could introduce yourself, Gonzo, for those that might not know you.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Gonzo, and thank you for having me on the channel. I am a collector of Pokemon for going on 27 years. I've been collecting since I was 10 years old, on and off. Mostly on, though. Of course, there's always those dry spells where you're a broke kid and you can't afford anything. My interests and hobbies are anything in the Pokemon space. I play the games, I play the TCG. I watch the anime with my kids now. And overall, I'm just here to have fun and spread the love of the hobby. I am not a seller. I'm not an investor of any sort. But I do believe that everybody in the hobby at this point is somewhat an investor, somewhat in the money, selling things if they need to. But overall, I am a collector from the start.
That's awesome. And I look forward to this episode because most of the time, we'll have like business people or sellers and stuff. And
Yeah,
something that
that's
I've been
not a
wanting
bad
to
thing. Yeah.
something I've been wanting to do is have like a genuine you're just there for the collecting part of it. You're just there for the fun of it. So this will be great. How I first met you, or I guess met or kind of got introduced to you, was my friend Rock Sandy, who gave me that amazing binder. Mentioned you on our podcast. And I was like, oh, cool. I've never heard your name because I'm in the Pokemon space, but I'm not in the Pokemon space. If you get what I'm saying, and I know a lot more of the competitive side of it. So names like Andrew Mahone, Grant Manley, Azul Garcia, Chip Ritchie, like those are people that I know more of who are like the competitive people and not like the collector. Like obviously I know who PokeRev is, but besides that, I didn't really know anyone. So I was like, okay, cool. So the more like Pokemon content creators, I guess you could say. And
Right.
I saw your stuff and I liked it. And then what I watched was, what was it? It was, I think, Deep Pocket Monsters, who I know you're close friends with. His like 4 hour long thing. I was in a car ride, like a 14-hour car ride, and I was like, you know what, this will be fun to watch. So I watched it, and I got to see a lot of your stuff, a lot of the kind of like the San Diego collecting community. It was really cool. So
the San Diego collecting community is so strong. And a lot of it has to do with Pat. Pat does a lot of the challenges he does a lot of his challenges locally, like most people would. Of course, he gets lucky enough, and he's very fortunate enough he can afford to go to Hawaii PopCon, multiple collecticons, and do what he needs to do. I actually met Pat at a local convention called RocketCon, which would be coming up soon. And we just talked. And I think that's what a lot of people, why they're so hesitant to get into the community and try to do these collaborations. They're afraid to talk to people. They're afraid to they see the numbers and they see the subs and they like, I don't want to talk to that guy. He's way too important to be talking to me. Pat does not care about your numbers, about your size. If you're a viewer, if you're a content creator, if you want to talk and it's not going to hurt anybody, he's willing to talk to you. And that's how our relationship started.
That's really cool. And I was actually going to talk to you about that because that's something that also I kind of knew previously, but I was like I had another revelation about it, I guess, when going into Pokemon, like this side of the Pokemon game and transitioning more from like strictly competitive, which is not like, it's just obviously it's competitive, so you're going to have a lot more. There's not like genuine connection there because know the person, you might make a friend with a person, but then you're going to like tell them you're going to be around them or stuff like that.
Yes and no. I don't know how long you've been playing competitively, but there's people who form teams, and they're great. I was in a team for a little while when I was in high school, and we had a great relationship with each other. And the good thing about that is we're all so competitive that we wanted to beat each other, but because we were friends, we were like, okay, cool. Tell me how to beat your deck, just in case
Yep.
we go to a tournament and someone has your deck. And it's a great thing to have. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes, like, when you're in the moment, it's game on. We're not friends. But at the end of the day, like, the friendship is still there. So that's what I mean. Like, it's a yes and no in the competitive scene of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I was trying to like say was kind of more like your relationship with obviously someone like that, and that's really awesome. And how for me, like noticing like even though I'm like a new, I have like I've been able to talk to people that are big. I guess you would say bigger content creators,
Right.
which and it's really cool. So that's awesome. How like just kind of I'm not took, but you guys had that connection. You guys
Yeah.
connected and did that. So so you said you've been collecting Pokemon for what 27 years is what you said?
Yeah. I'm 36. I'll be 27 this summer. When Pokemon came to the States, I was 10 years old, so it's really easy to keep track of. So almost
Yeah,
27 years old. Yeah.
that's awesome. And so you've been since the beginning.
Yep.
What got you? My first question would be, what got you into it? And then two, what was your favorite era to be a part of? Like for example, like X and Y, Black and White, or what you said.
So what got me into it was actually my friend Nick. Not Opossum Bud Nick. It's just very ironic that's the same name. My friend Nick, he came to school one day and he's like, "Oh my god, have you guys seen this new cartoon in the morning that they're showing on WB?" And all of us were like, "No, dude, come on, let's just play kickball before school starts." And he was like, "It's called Pokemon," and everyone's like, "Good job." And then the very next day, I saw the cartoon. It just happened to be on again, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." Like it connected to me really quick, and I got to school with Nick, and I'm like, "Nick, that show was pretty good. It was a great episode. He fought like the guy with the crazy hat and the Pokemon that doesn't want to go in the ball. Like that was pretty cool. Like, and then they fought this team called Team Rocket. It was the episode where he had to save Pikachu from Team Rocket. The very first one where they were introduced. The episode's called Here Comes Team Rocket. It's a great episode. So I think very fondly on that one. And we just connected. Our friendship grew from there because it was something that he and I liked, but not a lot of other people kind of got into yet. But with Pokemon, it came like a freaking tidal wave. It hit everybody, and I just been in love with it ever since. That's what got me into it. My favorite era. That's a difficult one because I personally really like Black and White. X and Y is a really good one. The Mega Evolutions. Um, I'm gonna go with Black and White. I thought those were probably the coolest games that came out at that time over Diamond and Pearl, Emerald. Even though I love Emerald, Black and White's such a fun era, especially with GameCube games at that time to mix everything up.
Yeah,
It was a great era. Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah. I got in like Sun and Moon or XY is really when I
Yeah.
got in. And then Sun and Moon era was kind of like when I got in like really big.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. And Sun and Moon for me is personally the card side of it. Video game, if we're talking video game, I love Sword and Shield. I don't know why. Um, it was that
Oh,
game where kind
yeah.
of like me and
That's
my friends. Sorry,
no. Go ahead. You and your friends.
I was gonna say like me and my friends. That was the first Pokemon game that we were like, oh my goodness, we're gonna get this all at Christmas, and then we're gonna like just go. We kind of went on
Yeah.
the story together, and then we kind of battled each other after the fact. So that one has like video game aspect. That one is really good.
Yeah,
It's like
that's awesome that you're friends. Because I remember getting those games like when I got mine. My first game was Yellow. So I remember having to trade away some of my Pokemon. My cousin traded my Pikachu because he thought he was going to be funny that the Pikachu, if he evolves my Pikachu, I don't get it anymore in the game because it doesn't follow you once it's evolved. But joke's on him. I fell in love with Raichu from that time, and it's been my favorite Pokemon ever since. But I remember trading and getting, just like you and your friends, getting those games for birthdays, for Christmas, probably up until Emerald was the last game where my friends were like, "Yeah, I got the games. Yeah, I got the games." And Emerald happened, and Diamond and Pearl, they're like, "Nah, we're not playing that anymore." So from Diamond and Pearl, I had to work and save my own money to get both versions of the game and a new DS, just so I can trade amongst myself, and I've done that ever since. So I
Mm-hmm.
have, um, I have my very first Yellow still.
Awesome.
I have a copy of every game of all my games.
Nice.
My mainline series games, I've never sold them back. But unfortunately, some of the side games I did sell back, and I regret that now
Yeah.
because they're so fun. Yeah, Pokemon Conquest. If you have the chance to play it, it's my favorite side piece
All
game.
right. Cool. Nice. And that's kind of in the boat where I'm now too. Is like all my friends are, excuse me, um, are like growing up and all that type of stuff. And we're all like in high school and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the point where I'm like, hey, can I buy your collections? Like like the collections
Yeah,
that we traded for, like back, in I don't know, like what, like seventh grade. Now they don't want it anymore, and like I'm in that point where I'm kind of, I don't know if it was this for you, but like I don't want to say the last one standing, but like I'm
yeah,
the one that kind of stuck with it, and it's sad sometimes, but at the same time, I understand you grow up, you find different interests, you um, you find the world comes more clearly
yeah.
to you or whatever it is, and there's other stuff that you would rather do or put your time and energy into it.
No, absolutely. Because I literally grew up with it. So I was
Mhm.
10. I'm 36. So yeah, there's always going to be that moment, and it's happening now with other people coming into the hobby. They get really excited for like 150. There's a lot of people who came in from 151 and they're already leaving, but now they're coming back because there's hype and excitement for it. If you're not
Mhm.
excited for something, why would you stick around? And growing up as a 16-year-old, 17-year-old young man, Pokemon's not exciting to you anymore. Girls are, cars are, going, hanging out with your friends, going to parties. Those are more exciting than Pokemon. I and yeah, same as you. I was just like, this is more fun to me at
Yeah.
the moment, and yeah, and that's great that you have that mindset and you can see it now because there's so much going on that you like. Hey, you don't like this anymore. Let me take it off your hands.
Hmm.
I wish I had that opportunity, but it was at that time it was only 6, 7 years old, and there's already rumors that this is going to be the last generation. This is the last set of cards. There's
Hmm.
always going to be that rumor, but now it's thriving so much that who knows when Pokemon will have its
Well,
last generation, last set of cards, or anything like that.
yeah, or if it ever will.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
which is
It took
it's
25 years to have Ash's saga end in the anime,
yeah,
so it could be another 25. Who knows?
yeah, that's very true. And yeah, so and this reminded me what like your revelation of Pokemon was is something else I do is I play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. We've played since eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And very similar. We were in sixth grade. And we came up with this game that we just called role play. And this is completely not Pokemon related at all. So forgive me. But we came up with this idea of a game called role play. And then one night, one of my best friends, Samuel, he told me, he's like, Rocco, this is very similar to a game called Dungeons and Dragons, right? And I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that game before. And then I
Mm-hmm.
looked it up that night on Google, and I was immediately obsessed with it. And ever since then, we've been playing the same,
Yeah.
kind of same concept where like a friend introduced it to you. I kind of had that same also experience in Pokemon with like LGSs. I went to my first LGS with a friend, and like I still have the first two cards I ever picked up at an LGS. I still have in my collection because
Yeah.
like immediately when I walked in, it was that immediate like snap or that immediate like connection to it where it was like, oh, this is what I want to do, like or like
Yeah.
this is this means something more to me than it does to other people.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool. And you said now, so you said the San Diego community is like obviously very thriving community. How Have you always lived West Coast?
Yes, I'm born and raised in San Diego.
Okay, cool. How has it always been strong, or is it more recently becoming a stronger
So
presence?
it's it's always been somewhat popular here in San Diego. We have a lot of local game stores that have been around for decades. Um, and there's always been a place to play, to collect, and to do things. But I think now more than ever, it's stronger because not only is there Pat, there's myself, there's Ian with Ian, there's Jay's Corners TCG. There's a lot of people in Southern California that will come down to San Diego to make content at some of these local game stores because they're the community is strong. And I think that help. I think having the content creators here and having the relationship we do with the LGSs is what makes it strong. Because sometimes, when they do trade nights, a lot of people come thinking they're going to run into Pat, thinking they're going to run into myself, which is really crazy to me that that's a thing now. We're going to run into Ian with Ian. They're going to run into the Pidgey Boys, Bikini Dratini, countless others that we've all seen in Pat's videos. They're like, I want to run into these people because they made a memory lasting enough to make me want to stay in the hobby.
Yep.
And I was just at a trade night and I was filming, and there's
Yep.
a lot of people that don't know who I am, and that's fine. But there's a lot of people like, oh, that's awesome. Like, we can't wait to watch your video. We can't wait to see what this is about. So if you see me out there, just say hi. I'm not gonna bite your head off unless you're disrespectful. But I think that's why the community is thriving. It's because we treat each other with respect, and if we see someone who's not being respectful, we call them out. We don't do it in public. Well, we don't put them on blast on on videos and stuff is what I mean, because we have some people caught on camera like just being complete d-bags, and we're like, no, like, it's being recorded, but we're not going to put them on blast. We're just like, hey man, that's not cool, knock it off, like, don't scam that kid, don't be that person, do better.
Yeah.
And I think calling people, and that's why I love Opossum Buds, Rock Standys, J Loves. Even though I don't always agree with how Rattle says things, I think Rattle's videos are great for the community because they are calling people out. They are bringing
Mhm.
attention to things that need to be brought attention to.
Yeah.
And just like how I don't always agree how Rattle says it, it's the same how people can say the same about Opossum Bud. Like, he's like, I don't like how he's an idiot, he's dumb, he's a bully. It's like, well, hold on, like, he's saying the same thing that Rattle said, that Rock Sandy said, but it's just a different way of saying it because that's how his passion is coming out. And
Mhm.
so pretty, like, if they had a bigger community in their areas to be able to do the same thing, I think any city would be able to thrive like the San Diego community does, because
Yeah.
we keep each other in check and we keep each other safe. And I think
Mhm.
that's what a lot of, not just the Pokemon community, I think Yu-Gi-Oh needs it. Magic the Gathering definitely needs it. The Dragon Ball Z players, like, if you're keeping each other safe, people will stay, and people would want
Mhm.
to stay, and they'll treat everyone with respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And obviously, I come from Nashville, and Nashville is there's the community is like, I guess so. It's like,
Mhm.
it's not like San Diego, but it's not, like it's not non-existent.
Yeah.
And it's mostly on the form of like Facebook groups and stuff like that. Like, we have a couple LTSs. Um,
Yeah.
and I love what you said about that too. And it's like something I hear a lot is like accountability, which in pretty much
Accountability is
anything,
huge. Yeah.
yeah, accountability is good, and not even in like this in life. Like, it's good to be accountable, to have people that, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, or hey, that doesn't
Mhm.
seem like something that you would do, or like, hey, is this like moral or whatever. Um, so that is something that is awesome, and just like also an acceptance of people. And that's really cool. I think I've been to LA when I was like 2 weeks old or something like that. I don't even know, but
Yeah.
I'll need to head up there and say hi and do all that type of stuff. But that's really cool, and I'm happy that you guys have a really good community.
It is fun.
You this is all. You say you play competitive. What's your deck that you play?
I haven't played competitive in a long time. I just got too big because now I'm a full-time student. And that is my focus. That's why, unfortunately, I don't put out as many videos as I would like to, but that's hopefully changing this year. The last competitive deck I played, though, was the Raichu deck from Sword and Shield.
Cool.
Yeah, if
Cool, cool, cool,
anytime I can play an electric deck that's meta and usable, I'm probably in it.
Right. So I'm right on. This is electric your favorite type?
Yeah, electric is my favorite type. Yeah.
Cool. And I choose your favorite Pokemon.
Yep. So
Cool.
yeah, once I saw Raichu being playable again, I was like, "Yep, he's in. I'm playing. We're going." And I did decent. Like I'm not the greatest, but I did okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then something back to kind of like thought about again is like the Pokemon market obviously like going like bananas right now. It's I don't even know how to explain it, but
it is weird. Because like I said earlier, my main focus is being a collector, but at this point in time, like you have to follow the investment and the money just a little bit. Because even if you're a collector, you still need to know where the best deals are, where to go to make sure you're getting the best prices if you're looking for something to buy. Because I don't, most collectors don't sell. Like we turn into gold dragon. You would get this reference because you're Dungeons and Dragons player. We're gold dragons. We hoard everything.
yeah.
If I see it and I put money into it and I bought it, it's mine. Like
Yeah.
you can look at it, but don't touch.
Yeah.
But that's like you still need to follow the trends a little bit and know who reliable sources are. But yeah, it's the market is so crazy right now. I haven't pre-ordered any, and I probably won't get any prismatic evolution until like another month. Until the hype, until everything's died down, people are getting cards everywhere, people have enough product. I don't think I'm gonna get any for like another, I would say 4 to 6 weeks is probably when I'll finally get my hands on prismatic at a fair price. I firmly believe we should not be paying 3 digits for an ETB of a set that just came out.
Yeah. That's it's crazy. And like it was so they say like timing is everything, and for me it's like I got into the like reselling at least like I got into it in like June.
Yeah.
And October and September, like September, October.
You got lucky. Everything's
Like
going up
yeah,
right now.
like everything got well I feel that too here too, because for me I didn't start really the business playing capital, but now I have to, because of all the competitive prices and all this stuff, I do have to put a little bit more revenue and a little bit more capital into the business.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's feeling it because the thing is, obviously the market's going crazy. For you as like solely a collector, for where are like usually the best places you can find deals? Because I know for me, obviously, like if I'm trying to buy a slab at like 70-80% to flip for a profit, card shows are usually good. That or like Facebook or Instagram haul where someone's just like bulk selling everything. Like for you solely as a collector, what are the good places for you?
Trade shows.
Trade shows?
Same answer. Trade shows.
Yeah.
Not only can you see the card in hand, you can take. So this is advice I give to all new collectors. Collect. It's advice I give to everyone. It's literally the outro of all my videos. Collect how you want to collect. And I firmly believe that. So if you're going to a trade show and let's say I go to your table and I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, hey, can I look at this card? Can I look at this card? And I'm taking them out of the sleeves. If not, I know some people do. I don't take them out of the sleeves because they're not my card yet. Mm-hmm. But if the card is in, let's say, I don't have any up here. Oh, yeah, I do. Do I? Yes. Let's say it's in a card sleeve like this, and I can't see into the back of it. I'm gonna take it out. But if it's in a regular penny sleeve, there's no reason for me to take it out. I can see it. Mm-hmm. And then if I take out my phone and start pricing it myself, and you get mad at me, I'm not gonna work with you. Because what's gonna happen is, from experience, they'll tell me, "Oh, don't worry about the prices. We'll price it." You're gonna give me a mint condition price for a mostly played card or a damaged card. Like everything's going to be top dollar for a vendor if they're not willing to let the buyer look at the prices themselves. Yeah. So while I'm doing that, a great app right now that I've been using a lot is not sponsored, is the Collector app. I
Yeah.
use this like crazy now because they have so many items that are like sold items, so it's up to date pricing. But eBay sold pricings, not the listing prices, the sold prices. Macari sold prices. Um, TCG player, of course, and collector. Like, use trusted sources to look at prices. Sold prices. Sold is the key word, because listed prices is the same thing at a trade show. Like, it's listed that, but how much did you sell it for? And then negotiation is great. I like to negotiate with what I can. I'm not going to lowball you and tell you, hey, give me for 50% off. But I'll probably try to get off like $5 or $10 depending on the price. And the best strategy to get the price you want for a specific card, buy multiple cards from the person. The more cards you're willing to buy, the more they're willing to negotiate with you, because it's still more money in their pocket. But trade shows are great, especially if you're somebody who likes to buy mystery packs, because then you can open it up right there and call the people out. And I love it. Trade shows are my favorite. Trade shows and local game stores are my go-to spots to buy cards. I do buy from eBay from time to time, and I do get stuff from Instagram sellers. Always trusted sellers on Instagram. If I don't know anyone who's worked with them before or bought from them, I don't use them either. So they need to be trusted, essentially trusted and verified. If you started selling on Instagram, you're trusted because you already do sell out in town, and there's people who bought from you. But I'm talking about like brand new sites, brand new pages. They're popping up like crazy right now. I shared one to the Critical Hit podcast team the other day, a brand new page talking about reselling, but they already turned off their comments. I'll never buy from them. If you're a content creator and you turn off your comments, you're not trusted. You're not. Yeah. But yeah, local trade nights are 100%, or not even local trade nights. Collecticons are a good spot to do it. Card party is a great spot to do it. Just trade shows in general. So it doesn't even have to be local trade nights.
Cool. Yeah, that's like I said, like that's the exact kind of same strategy. I use alt because a lot of the
A lot of
people up
people use
here
alt, and
and
it's,
use
it's
alt.
not bad. I use alt from time to time.
Obviously, I'm picking up mostly slabs, but
Yeah.
if I'm doing like single stuff, it's usually TCG player or price charting or collector. Those are like the top that I use.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's I love shows. I've only done a couple, and but they're really good. And that's also a pro tip from a seller that the more cards you do buy from someone, the more likely they are to go down the price, because at the end of the day, it is more money in their pocket.
Yeah.
And speaking of shows, what has been your favorite show that you've been to?
My favorite show I've been to, Card Party 1.
The very, very first one?
The very, very first
Cool.
one. I've been to a lot of shows. There's a lot of local shows out here in San Diego, but as far as like events that are like that, Card Party is for a Pokemon standpoint. For an overall collector, if like you want to collect sports cards, Magic the Gathering, MetaZoo, stuff like that, Collecticon is a much better show for you. But if you're strictly Pokemon and you want to meet content creators and you want to be part of something like crazy on stage at times, because Collecticon is great, but their stage shows are just that. They're shows. They're not events. Card parties, they're straight up events on the stage. Like, someone's always going to walk away with cards. But Card Party 1 was a huge milestone, in my opinion, for me and my channel. I was thinking about quitting YouTube. Quitting YouTube. It's not for me. I was only at like 200 subs when it happened. So I didn't even sign up to be an attending creator. But Jay's Corner TCG and Ian with Ian were like, no, dude, you gotta go. You're gonna have fun. You gotta go. I was like, all right, screw it. So I went to Card Party 1. Wasn't planning on making a whole lot of content, but I made like 2 videos, and I had a blast. I met so many people that I've seen in the live chats of other people's channels. I've seen I got to meet Joey for the first time. Dan, the producer for Deep Pocket Monster, I was talking to him on and off, and I got to meet him for the first time. Powder's one of my best friends in the community right now. I got to meet him, and like meeting people in person just helps grow that level of friendship. And that is incredible that it's a friendship and not just like, oh, we're coworkers. Like we'll just do what we need to do. But if you're, and that was the size of a content creator, that's my favorite show. I think even if I was a seller, Card Party would still be my favorite show. Because they do the same thing. They network. Like I told you this while we were talking about getting this ready. I had a friend in college who lives by your network is your network.
Mm-hmm.
So as a seller, if you're a seller, like Card Party is a great spot to start because everyone's doing Pokemon. So you can always like they're always willing to help each other out there as well. To like, hey, this you might want to double check the price on this card. I saw that happen 3 times in person at Card Party 2. Like there's tables that were helping. Like there's some vendors, like you've seen it, some vendors will put up curtains and put up walls, and they can't really talk to the other vendor. Even though they will talk to them. But while the show's going on, you can't really see it. At Card Party 2, there was a spot where there was a smaller, you can tell they're new, they're small. They had their product there. It's still very professional. But every once in a while, this guy would look over and he's like, hey, like, double check the price on that one. Like, that shouldn't be there. You should put that one in the glass case now. Because as you know, as a seller, like the market fluctuates. Mm-hmm. So him having his back and be like, hey, that card is not worth $5. It's $50 now. Put in the glass case. Dude. Was really cool to see. And a lot of the people that go to Card Party, even as a buyer, they'll be like, hey, like this price, like Twice Baked Jake made a video about how to make, like, what's the best way to deal. And I think it's one of his worst takes ever. Where it's pretty much like, hey, that's their fault for not doing their job. It's a yes and no thing for me. Like if I went to your booth and you had a card in there that's worth $10 mm-hmm. and you have it in there for $5, at that point I'm like, yeah, that's your fault. But if you have a card that went from $5, because it has happened and it's happening right now, a card will go from $5 to $50. At that point, I'm like, hey man, this, like, if you want $5 for it, I'll take it, but you should really be charging this. And I think that's why Card Party is probably the best of the events, because not only are the buyers looking out, or the sellers are looking out for sellers, content creators are looking out for the fans are looking after them, looking after each other as well. There's buyers looking after sellers. Because, and this is what people don't realize, you and I can be great. We can be friends. We can be like really good people. But if I bought that $50 card for $5 and you find out that I knew, I'm not going to be able to buy anything from you ever, because you're always going to be like, well, how, like, or like you're not going to want to give me the deal because if I'm like, hey, you have 3 cards that I want, and you're like, all right, let me price them out. And like, if you don't have them already like tagged, like some stores do, you're not going to like, I can't do, there's no wiggle room. Like, building rapport with people from seller to buyer, buyer to seller, content creator to fan, fan to fan, building that rapport with people is amazing. Because especially with you as a seller, because if I buy from you and Opossum buys from you, Roxanne buys from you, and someone's like, hey man, I'm looking for some cards, do you know any people that will ship to me? I'm like, yeah, go over to Rocco. Rocco's a good dude, he'll help you out. It's just more money in your pocket. Like, it all goes back to respecting, keeping each other in line and in check. Yeah.
That's great. And I'm trying to go to Card Party in June, because I have family in Florida, and obviously that's during the summer. I'm really trying to go. I don't know if I'm going to go as a vendor.
I don't at this point, to be honest, I think at this point you'll be out of luck. or very, very lucky if you get a vendor table at this point. They sell out quick now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so I was
I
thinking,
think I told you before, even if you can't get a vendor, go as a fan, go as a content
yeah,
creator. Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. And I also have a friend in this area in Nashville who's
Mm.
helping me a lot. He does a lot of the bigger shows, so I think he might have gone a card party table. So if anything,
Oh,
I'd
nice.
probably
Yeah.
like
Split it with
split a
them.
booth with him or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But that's definitely the bucket list for the content creation stuff this year.
Mm.
And yeah, that's awesome. And something that I know card party was like really pivotal for Rock Sandy too, and conventions in general are very pivotal for people. Like that's where I kind of took that first like big step. I was like, okay,
Right.
now I'm ready from being like a faceless channel to like actually putting my face out there, actually like doing stuff. Because you look at like the first like 3 months of content that I did, it was like compared to what I'm doing now, it's like horrible. And it's just like
That's everybody.
yeah,
Man,
it's
look
like
at my content was garbage. It's
yeah,
don't get me wrong, it still is. But comparatively, the growth will come if you keep doing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
Mm.
And what was the thing? Oh, I was going to tell you this since you're like a content creator more, and I know you help. I think it was you and then someone else helped me, and when I put that like video stuff, like just like with thumbnails and like the descriptions and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Um, was like, what are like processes that you use, or like strategies that you use, or like stuff like, for example, you're going to a card party, let's say, or
Mm.
you're going to a convention and you want to make content for it. What is like going on in your brain, or what's the process of like you deciding what you want to shoot and then how you go about it?
So I get all my ideas like if someone invited me to a trade night, I'm like, hey, we want you to go to a trade night. We want you to film content. It's in 2 days. I'm gonna tell them no, because that's not for me. That's not enough time to like. And I know it is for some people, and that's awesome. I wish I had that, but I would have to be like, okay, this is my thought process. This is like, okay, what do I want to film? What do I need a thumbnail? What do I need a script? That's my like script, thumbnail, title, and then the idea of the video. Like, okay, and it's this is advice I got from Dan from and Pat from Card Party One, because I went to their content creator panel. They do, because Card Party does panels to help out new content creators. It's think backwards. Start with title and thumbnail and then work from there, because you don't want to clickbait people anymore. So my thought process is just like what Dan and Pat told me, or not just me, but everybody, because they do panels at Card Party. And it's think backwards. Don't start with, okay, this is the video I want to do. Think of a title and thumbnail. You don't want to clickbait people in this hobby, because people in the comment section are going to get mad. But that's almost any hobby at this point. So like for the video that I'm doing now, that I should be having up live either, I don't know when this goes live, but it's either going to be up or it's not going to be up yet. But it's going to be up for the end of June.
Wednesday or Thursday is usually when these go up.
Okay, so after this goes up, the video I'll be having up on Friday or Saturday. I've had this idea in the works since like October, because it's, to me, this is a big year-long project that I'm working on. So I've had to think like, okay, for each 12 videos that I'm doing, what's the thumbnail? What's the goal? What do I need to change per video to make it stand out from the other 11 videos that I'm doing? And of course, things are going to change as you get to the venue, as you get your new equipment, as maybe something, changed in the hobby. But title and thumbnail is something that I need to think of first, and then it's like, okay, where am I going? Oh, I'm going to Frank and Sons in LA in 2 months. Cool. What can I do there? Well, a lot of content, most people don't want to watch pack opening videos anymore. They don't. Not unless you're opening a pack 7 to 14 days earlier, if you're on Whatnot or Drip. Like, that's the only time people want packs. It's for rip and shits. And that's a problem. I do live openings myself, but it's only once a month, because it wants to, like, and it's a lot of packs. but I'm not gonna open an ETB on camera anymore because it's just not there. People want us. They either want a story like the Gengar challenge video that Pat just did, or they just want a challenge video that Powder did, where he collected every PSA
That's
10
sick.
alt art. Yeah,
That's awesome.
people want to watch a challenge. They want to watch. They want to be entertained. That's why they come to YouTube. And some pack openings aren't entertaining anymore because of the pull rates, or some people say the excessive pulls because Scarlet and Violet has too many hits. You're not going to make everyone happy with Pokemon cards. But that's usually how I work with my content: title, thumbnail, and then what can I do there? What do I want to do there? What seems fun to do? So that's my thought process. And then for my live streams where I do podcasts just like this, it's I try to think of whatever my guest wants to talk about, we'll talk about. But for the thumbnail for my guest, it's in the title, it's usually whatever their niche is. Like my next guest is going to be Pokahavi, which would already happen by the time this goes up. Pokahavi's thumbnail is him and I, and the thumbnail says from fan to colleague, because we met at Card Party 1, and he is a big inspiration on why I decided to keep going, because he told me there, he's like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan. I like your stuff. I started a new channel which is crazy, because of you, because of Pat, because of these, like, all these people." And I'm like, I have 200 subs and you started it because of me? Like, look, like Rev's right around the corner. Like, what? So thumbnail is from fan to colleague with Pokahavi, and that's going to be the title as well. And we're just going to be talking about the same thing we're talking about right now, like his history, like. And I do mine live, so the chat will get involved and the chat will ask questions. And I think that's what. It's no knock to you, and it's no knock to anyone else who does these, because I think these are great themselves. Because you and I can talk. You can feed off me. I can feed off you. But it really does show people how much you actually care about the community, when the community can also be part of the conversation. I think that's why they love. And that's probably why I get the people I get too. Like, I've got some big names. I got Opossum I got Shiny Vert, Alex Hodges, Pokémon E. They've all been guests on my channel. And yes, they have a huge following, so people come. But people want to come and talk to them, because sometimes people feel that's the only way to get the chance to talk to them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And I that's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, is doing more live stream stuff. But I'm just trying to figure out how to do it, and I haven't really had time to sit down and really figure out how to run a live stream.
Yeah, but that's a good thing too. Testing things is never a bad idea. There's some people like, nah, I'm just gonna do it. I'm like, hold on, that's not how this works. Because for something will go wrong if you don't test it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My question. This would be my content creator question, and I know you said that you don't think any question is a dumb question, but this is probably a dumber question, or something that I should have known before going in. But the idea of a script. What do people mean by that? Because that's something that's always kind of befuddled me, and I don't really know what that means.
So for me, a script is not just little, for my videos especially, they're footnotes. Okay, what do I they're these are the spots, or these are the things I want to hit, or that I need to hit in this video while recording. Or even while I'm editing, I'll look at the script I wrote beforehand. Okay, this may I'll look at it while I'm editing. I'm looking. Okay, great. This is the section that needs this particular voiceover of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And that's not bad. But if you're looking at Pat's videos, those are scripted. That's because he's doing a voiceover 90. I would say 90% of the time there's a voiceover. That's a full-on script. But he has a team. He also has an editing team that can help him with it. And hey, and he can tell them this is what I need to help with my script. And So sometimes a script is exactly that. It's a script. And for me, it's not really a script. It's more of a, hey, here's some notes, here's some bullet points, here's something that you noted to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, even if you look at the unedited version of the stuff I just filmed, I'm looking at my camera person, like, hey, and I'm mostly talking to the camera. I'll look over and I'm like, okay, right here, this is what I need to do. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm making a mental note for myself for the future me who needs to edit this.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've never thought of that. And I was like, I'm weird. It help that, but that helps me because I am the editor. I am the script writer. I like, so yeah, script writing is for some people a full on script. That's probably like more closer to Rock Sandy. Shiny Vert. Professor Metry is a huge one who probably does use scripts because his stuff is, oh, I love his stuff. I can't wait for another 6 months to go by to watch his next video. Yeah, and for me, it's probably just footnotes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like an outline, pretty much, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, yeah, a
Okay.
rough draft and outline. Yeah,
Okay, cool. Because when I'm thinking like script, I think like like an actual script or like
yeah.
like a behind the scenes stuff, more like a Deep Pocket Monster or Rock Sandy or something like that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. That clears a lot because that's just a question I've always had for a long time, and since we were talking about it, I was like, oh, that might be a good idea to talk.
Yeah.
And this is a little segment that I like to have in every podcast,
Okay, let's do it.
which I called is well. First, I like to ask like, what's your favorite Pokemon? You said Raichu.
Raichu.
I like Raichu. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Is that the first gen?
Yeah, this no, this is yellow. No, it is Gen 1, but it's the Pokemon
Gen
Yellow
Sure.
Bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Um, my so for me, what this kind of derives to is the first card show I went to, which is like I said before, like a very pivotal moment, probably one of the most pivotal moments that in starting the YouTube channel and starting Instagram. Um, was excuse me. I got my first I actually have it here in my amazing hard prison binder, everyone. Little
Gonzo
thing
10
there.
to check out.
Yeah. Yes, I don't have a code, but we made an agreement to he sent me a like a package of like 10 of them, and I'm selling them at conventions and stuff like that in person to get the word out there. Anyway, I got this card, which is obviously it's just Evolution's Charizard.
Yeah,
And
reverse.
yeah, reverse holo. And put that there. See that. Oh, cool. Um, it's so sturdy, it holds up by itself, guys. It's great. The events, it, it was like, for me, it was like my first Charizard or whatever. Like Charizard's obviously one of the big boys of the TCG, all that type of stuff. But what was kind of your first Charizard, I would say? Like that first, like, I guess like a Grail card or like that first card that you got that was like, oh wow, this is more than a normal hobby or a normal game like this. I'm like very serious and very passionate about this.
I would say it would be base set Charizard because that's what I started with, but in reality, it wasn't. My ultimate Grail card is Dark Raichu from Team Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was other sets. There were Jungle, there was Fossil, there was base set, there's Raichus and all those sets. But Dark Raichu specifically sticks out to me because it's the very first, and I'm very fortunate that it's my favorite Pokemon, but it's the very first secret rare card in the
Yeah.
Pokemon TCG.
Mm-hmm.
People and it's so dumb. It's so dumb to me that people argue. I'm like, no, the error Pikachu from Jungle is the first secret rare. I'm like, no, you little turd. That's our error card for a reason. Raichu, the secret rare Raichu, was deliberately it made to be that. So that is my ultimate Grail card. I'm very fortunate to own multiple copies. I grade every single Dark Raichu I get. I gave some away for like milestones on the channel, but I do have my childhood Dark Raichu that I pulled out of a pack. and I'm surprised I got a PSA 8 too because I played it. I played it hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dark
That's
Raichu
awesome.
is my grail card. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome card. That's a really his stance. It's like it's like dominance, but also a little
Mhm.
goofy. Like it's like very cool.
Yeah.
And I like for like my card that I guess would come up into that category is the Blastoise EX from '06. I don't know what set it's from, but I know it's from it's like some some like 3D type Blastoise thing that was very
Yeah.
like goofy, but it's also like really cool. That's awesome.
That's the Dark
Yeah,
Raichu I'm talking
yeah,
about.
that card was awesome. Yeah. Um, let's see if
No, if I can get the Dark Raichu from the Legends packs.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be an awesome one to find. I think it's like I want to say it's been $200 for a couple
Mhm.
years, and I can afford it, but it's one of those things. I'm like, well, if I get it, I can't get other product for a couple of days.
This is the guy I'm
Yes,
talking about.
Fire
The
Red, Leaf
PT I
Green,
love.
so
Yes,
good.
I love that
Fire
Charizard.
Red and Leaf Green is an amazing set.
Yeah,
I have the
it,
Charizard from that set, PSA 9. It's worth like
yeah,
it's crazy. It's worth like $1,500.
yeah. I like also it's like compared, like I said, so that card is very
Mm,
popular in a very like an '06 deck. Um, I like that one. And then another one I like is which this is a side note, and I hope I don't sound dumb for this, but I just realized that share screen isn't here, so thank you for doing that. For
yeah.
sharing the right to because I just realized that is the let's see here, make it go. This guy. These are like two. I don't have any of these cards yet, but these are two cards that I
Yeah,
really
it's the keyword.
want. Yeah, yes. Um, I really want to have this
Oh,
too. I love
the Gus
this. Yeah,
love card. It's I love the tag team. I love Sun and Moon because the tag team era cards.
yeah.
That's so
The
I really like that card.
yes, tag teams is like I said. Sun is my era of tag team. Um, and yeah, but that Dark Red Tube menacing, really cool.
Mm,
Um, do you have like a RAD? Is your like dream to have like a PSA like 1 through 10 set of it, or
no,
if you've already done it? No, okay. That's
no.
what some people
I
do.
I would like a PSA 10 in that card, but in general, just having one is good enough for me. Yeah.
But that's a that's awesome. That's an awesome card. And let's see. Yeah. So what? Honestly, I'm gonna see. I don't know what you are. Let's see here. So currently, if although I don't overuse this now, but so you are 2K subs, 2.5K subs, and one.
Yeah.
Um, what? How? How long did? Because I know you said like first card party, you were thinking of like
Mm,
quitting.
yeah.
You were thinking like what for you? Like obviously it's a lot more than me. I don't think I've even broken 100 yet, but honestly, it's like YouTube's like great, but for me, it's not like my primary focus.
Mm.
My primary focus is mostly like Instagram and that type of stuff. But how? What are some like tips, or like what is like some advice that you learned, or something that has always kept you going, like in those times where you're like, oh man, you know what, I should just like give up on this. I should just do this. Like, what are some things that have helped you and keep like a strong lead? I guess would be my answer.
You have to find the right crowd to keep you motivated. Um, you if you surround yourself with good people, good things happen to you is how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you surround yourself with people who are gonna back you up, like Ian with Ian and Jay's Corner TCG, like I said, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here because they pushed me so hard just to go to Card Party.
Mm-hmm.
But then I met a bunch of people there who I became friends with, and they're like, "No, dude, just keep up with it. If you really like it and you're having fun, keep going."
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you're having fun with it, keep going. If
Yeah.
you have friends that are willing to push you, let them push you. Let them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to, at the same time, though, if you need that break, take a break. I get it.
Yeah.
This is it is exhausting sometimes, and I'm not even a
Mm-hmm.
full-time creator, and it's like
Yeah,
it's a rush. But that's all it is. You need to surround yourself with positive people and positive things. But let your friends say no to you sometimes. Let your friends tell you that's a dumb idea. Be able, and this isn't a friend thing or a stay positive thing at this point for this next piece of advice. You need to be strong. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm strong. You need to be mentally strong for this. Because if you can't take comments in any form in a negative fashion, even if it's a critique, a valid critique, if you can't take that, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you now. I'm sorry. This isn't for you. And I'm not telling people don't do it if you don't think you can take it. No, try it. See if you can do it. See if you can take that criticism. Because that's huge. You need to be mentally strong to be able to take critiques from strangers on the internet. And sometimes, even if they're valid, you need to be able to take it. But at the end of the day, there's trolls, there's bigots, there's I'm not gonna say what I would say because you're 16. And I'm trying to be a good, responsible adult, but there's people that want to hurt you just because they want to hurt you. So if you can't take people calling I don't delete comments unless they're stupid racist or stupid sexist or stupid whatever it is. I had a guy just keep calling me stupid Mexican, a stupid beaner. I'm like, all right, dude, I was a Navy veteran. You're gonna take a lot more to hurt me with that, but it will hurt other people. So again, to protect my fans, protect the viewers, I delete those. But if you can't take someone calling you a stupid Mexican or a stupid beaner if you're Hispanic, yeah, unfortunately, it is super unfortunate. This space isn't for you because the larger you get, the more of those comments you're gonna get. Go on Instagram, go on TikTok, go on Twitter, go to anyone that has a really good following, and they're still gonna have racist comments on their stuff. Especially females. Females are gonna have really sexist comments on their stuff.
Yeah.
And I think female content creators are killing it right now, and they're stupid strong. Because like you can go on any comment section for a lot of the female creators on Instagram, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm surprised you don't have an OnlyFans. Oh, I'm surprised your OnlyFans isn't linked out. Oh, like you're only doing this because you have the body." Like someone's always attacking their figure, and it's crazy. But there's so many female creators out there that just let it go. Like they're just stupid.
Yeah.
Like you'll see who's here to be here for the hobby because they're so strong about it and they're so passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome advice, great advice, and also thank you for your service, being Navy veteran. I appreciate that, and yeah, it's mental. It's a very big mental game, and surrounding yourself with people. And for me, like something I go by a lot is law of attraction, which if you don't know, like obviously just law of attraction and then law of input, which is pretty much just like you put in what you sow. Like you're gonna put 20 seeds, you're gonna get 20 plants. That type of stuff. So I agree a lot with that. And something that I'm very grateful for too, also Rock Sandy doing is that big content creator group chat on Instagram, which I'm not in it a lot, mostly because I have Instagram silent on my phone because of notifications. I don't want to get like bombarded all the time. But I'll pop in there every once in a while, get in some conversations or do some stuff or post a video or whatever. It's I texted him that when Nike made it, I'm like, bro, you just like assembled the Avengers. Like kind of like that's kind of what it felt like, whereas like he put all these people together and it was great. And the thing about comments too is I had to go to pulls on last week, and something like obviously he gets scrutinized a lot, or he gets like a lot of hate comments, a lot of that type of stuff, which because of his behavior and all that type of stuff. But he told me, he's like, yeah, I just laugh it off. It's like it's you can't change people. Some people are just gonna hate. And
it is truly unfortunate that is a mindset you have to have and able to survive in this space. You need to be mentally strong. I really did hate to say it, but the truth, and some people need to hear it, especially if you're a young adult as yourself, or if you're a family channel. They're gonna attack your kids. That sucks, but and they're gonna attack your parenting style. You just be able to have to take it on the chin, remove the comments if you want to remove them. I normally don't reply to them. I just let them, I just delete it and move on. But at the end of the day, that's still going to stick with you. So and having something to do to relieve that stress is massive. So yeah.
Cool. Okay, so this is obviously you've been with Pokemon your whole life. And this is just kind of came off the top of my head. But what is like your I don't want to say the worst generation, because I feel like every generation of Pokemon is good and has benefits to it, and has awesome cool sick Pokemon. But what has been your least favorite generation, and why?
My least favorite generation, probably that is hard, because the people think the games are childish and they're for kids because of how they look and some of the character development. But if you look at the actual story, they're incredible. Like Sword and Shield, your favorite game that you were just talking about, had to deal with a nuclear weapon. Eternatus is essentially a nuke. Same thing with X and Y. The ultimate weapon destroyed a city. Diamond and Pearl with Giratina in the Distortion world, they were like, yeah, he wanted to free all Pokemon, but in reality, he was trying to summon a demon. Summon the devil. Black and White, they wanted to bring God and destruction. Like they get pretty dark. What's the one I'm thinking of? Scarlet and Violet, the mom and dad are dead. If you think these are spoilers, get over yourself. You're not playing the games anyways. They've been Scarlet and Violet's almost 3 years old at this point.
Crazy.
The professors, depending on which version, your mom or dad, Arvin's mom or dad, they're dead. Well, they're not if you play the DLC. They're just stuck in time. So you're playing, the parent's a robot. In all honesty, Red and Blue are probably the worst games just because of storytelling alone, not because of the graphics, not because of the Pokemon, because of storytelling. Yay, there's but that's still pretty dark. Mewtwo destroyed a whole island, and Blaine is the reason why he's so much bigger than Mew is because he has human DNA in it and cloning. There is a dark side of Pokemon that people don't want to realize. But man, my least favorite though, that is legitimately hard because I do like all of them. I don't know. I honestly can't answer that one. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't have an answer.
It's all good. I haven't played through all Pokemon games. I don't even have a 3DS. But I don't have an experience with the game to play all of them. But that is definitely true about the dark side of Pokemon. Especially all the teams and stuff. Sometimes I know Team Team Star and Team Yell are they're okay.
Yeah.
But
they're not evil teams.
Yeah.
One's a school club and one's a fan club.
Yeah. But like Team like Rocket, if you're going to, or like Team Galacta
Mm-hmm.
or Galactic or Team, uh, Team Aqua and Team Magma are literally
Yeah,
like two
they're
rival like
really trying to destroy the world.
yeah
Yeah.
they're like two rival gangs or two rival teams that are
Mm-hmm.
like just against each other. And there's definitely it's not all that it seems, you know.
Yeah.
It's which is cool. It's very it's like Shrek in a way, I guess, you know, where Shrek is like on the front face of it, it's like a kids movie, right? But
Yeah.
if you go behind the scene, like there's darker themes, or there's like, you know, there's other stuff being played, or there's jokes, or all that type of stuff that
Right.
caters to a more mature audience, or an audience that's more interested with stuff,
Right.
more
Right.
interested in the details. So I props to Game Freak or Nintendo for doing that. And yeah, it's great. So I didn't really think about that right until now that Eternatus is like a nuclear type of weapon. Um, and that's crazy now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But Sword and Shield's always been good. I also want to play shoot what the Sceptile, like Mudkip. That's Ruby, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to play like Ruby or Sapphire on a Game Boy or something like that, and
Mm.
play on that one. So for I don't know. Have you been like, for example, like when like do you have like every Pokemon game for its original console? Like for example, like you have like Pokemon Gold, like Pokemon Red, and
Mm-hmm.
blue, like all that. So you bought a
Yeah.
Game Boy for that? Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Kind of. I still have all my childhood ones. Yeah.
cool.
So I'm missing like red and blue. I'm missing the ones that I didn't play as a kid. But from Emerald on, I have every single game because with Diamond and Pearl, I had to start buying my own.
Hmm.
So I have Diamond, I have Pearl, I have Black and White 2, all of them. I have all of the mainline series games from Emerald up, and then from Yellow on, I have like one from each generation.
Cool. Reason I ask is because I want to get into a lot of the older games, and I
Mm.
don't know if it's better to get like like whatever the Master Game Boys that can play all of them, or the Master 3DS that can
Oh,
play
those
all of them.
ones.
Like,
Yeah, I don't even know if half my games work anymore because the internal battery could be dead. Um, but yeah, if I would because I'm a big person, like I'm a big like I like to have everything like officially licensed. So if I would recommend asking, oh, who is it that has it? I know someone has it in the creator group. I would ask them and see which one's best.
all right,
Yeah, because
cool.
I know what you're talking about. Like the ones that are on like TikTok shop all the time are like, this has 7,000 games, like
Well, not
that.
necessarily like the emulators, but like you
Okay.
know how like there'll be like the what is it? It's like the Game Boy SP or whatever it is that can
Mhm.
play every single Game Boy game,
Yeah, yeah.
or like the 3DS, which can play 3DS and 2DS games.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. So you're looking for which console would be best for each one?
Yes, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, for the DS games, the any DS would work just fine. I like the DS Lite myself. Um, the 3DS games, get whatever 3DS you like. They're all the same. I have the Pokeball model. The 2D, it's a three it plays 3D games, but it's 2D because no one ever turned on the 3D function. And then for Game Boy games, I just use my SP still.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I have this one. Well, this isn't mine. This is my mom's. But I've been thinking about like what would be the best bang for buck for that type of stuff. But thank
Yeah.
you for that. That's something I don't game a lot, but I do want to get into some Pokemon games, particularly Nuzlocke. I love Nuzlocke.
Nuzlocke's are really fun to
Nuzlocke,
watch. Yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah. I'm watching Dads Being Dudes stuff right now. They're uh, original 151 and United Plays were really big inspirations for me to start the channel itself because I originally started out as a gameplay channel.
oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's interesting. Um, Yeah, Pokemon's evolved a lot. That's fun. Yeah, and those arcs are cool. I've watched a couple. Me and my friend have done a second, but that's because they're hard, obviously. But it's really it's like yeah, I haven't finished Scarlet or Violet or whatever Scarlet thing is. So
Right.
I've pretty much only played Sword. I stopped halfway through Scarlet because I was like, yeah, the graphics are meh. For me, the graphics were meh, and the storyline was okay, but then also the
Mhm.
open world aspect kind of was like a Pokemon game, and kind of just didn't really make sense to me, I guess.
Right.
Um, so and I also got in Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm a big of the open world Zelda. And Tears of the Kingdom are like two of my top favorite games ever. So
Right.
those are anyway. Um, my last question before we wrap up would be, and I know we kind of talked about this before, but what would be your piece of advice for someone that maybe wants to get, like, wants to get into the Pokemon space,
Mhm.
just generally as a hobby, and then two, if they're already in the hobby and want to start making content, and then like three, like kind of networking, and then like kind of scaling that.
So if you're new to the hobby, you just want to collect the cards, you want to play the games, get the most modern stuff you can, except for Prismatic Evolution and Journey Together. Those sets right now for on the online prices for Journey Together are insane. For Prismatic Evolution, they're even worse. Get modern sets that are affordable, something you can afford to start out with. If you want to open packs, if you go all out and get the vintage stuff, you might get burnt out really quickly because sometimes you might just be able to afford one pack, and that one pack isn't going to do much for you if you open it. So stick with modern. If you want to buy singles, buy singles. Focus on your favorite Pokemon. Focus on your favorite set. Have a focus and a goal in mind when you want to start, and then start slowly expanding from there. If you decide you want to keep going with the collecting side of the hobby, if you want to be a content creator, do it. Hit the record button, turn on the camera, do what you need to do. Pat Flynn says it best. You gotta cringe before they binge. So just make content. You will evolve and grow as you do it. But like I said, you need to have that tough chin, that be able to take a hit mentally, and ask for help when you need help. Reach out to other content creators, reach out to other people, ask them for advice. It doesn't hurt. The worst they can do is say no or just not answer, and that's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. And then what was the third question? The networking.
Yeah, networking and scaling.
Yeah, talk to people. Get in comment sections for other people's videos. And I'm not talking about going there and go, great video, great job, great topic. Go in there with a comment that makes sense with the topic at hand of the conversation. Don't go in there and like, oh, great editing, great this, great that. That may be true, and that may be how you feel, but talk about what makes it great. Talk about, hey, this transition from this part to this part, or this topic to this topic, or this part of the video was great. So like, if you want, use that timestamp feature for YouTube in the comments and let them know, like, this is where I was when I made this comment, and this is what I'm thinking about it at this moment. Like, so make it known that you actually watched the content, and then go and like comment on their Instagram stuff, comment on their stories. The more active you are, the more you stick out, and more than likely, the more willing, if they're a bigger content creator, the more likely they're going to reply to you, because they're going to remember your face. They're going to remember your username. And that is a huge thing. And Alex Hodges, or Alex Ketchum, wherever you know him from, he regrets not doing it this way. Have your username be the same on every single platform. So if you're Banana Monkey here, be Banana Monkey on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Kick, on Twitch. So people, if they want to find you on another platform, boom, you're right there. They know exactly how to find you. Go to the events. Go to your local trade shows. Go to your local trade nights. Interact with the hobby. Interact with the community that you want to build. If you're not part of that, I'm not saying you can't, you won't succeed if you don't do it. I'm just saying it makes it easier, because the more you go out there and talk to people, the more that's more feedback for you to adjust and change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And being interactive is definitely something that I need to work on. And it's just pressing record. We got these crazy things called iPhones or telephones now that there's more
accessibility.
More information. Yeah, more accessibility, and there's more technology in there that brought them to the moon.
Yeah,
and it's in your pocket most of the time. And I know that's what I record on. At least right now, like I'm a sound guy, so I like sounds and soundboards, all that stuff. But cameras, I haven't really gotten big into cameras yet. But I just use phones pretty much and record at the highest quality, and it works fine. It works well, and I really appreciate that. And being active is something good. Kind of reminded me last night. I was listing some stuff on eBay last night, and the guy there's this guy I watch. His name's Henry's Pokemon Corner, and he does Market Watch Mondays every day or every Monday. It's a highlight of my week, and I just told him there. I was like, hey, great video. I love the content. I love what you talked about. This was a great late night listing podcasting in the background. Always a highlight of my week. Thank you for doing it and taking your time. And he responded back. He was like, "Oh man, that means a lot. Thank you."
Yeah.
So people are interactive. People appreciate the recognition and all that type of stuff. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the knowledge and wisdom they shared. And before we head out, where can people find you?
You can find me at youtube.com/026Gonzo. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at 026Gonzo, and that's pretty much it. You can find me at local events if you're in San Diego. I'll be at the LA Collecticon coming up in March. I will be at both card parties. I do not know if I'll be a featured creator again or if I'm just an attending creator, but it doesn't matter. I'm going either way.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you can also find me with the Critical Hit team at the Critical Hit podcast on YouTube.
All right, cool. Awesome. And we talked about it. You asked me to be on there, right? Or sometimes something like that.
Yes. You will be a guest on my podcast where we will be live, and it's going to be like this. But we're going to go off the rails a lot because that's what the chat does, and they love every single minute of it. We're still working out the details though. Hopefully it's soon. And I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'll bring it by, or I'll try to. I have a bunch of energy right now.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm tired. It's a long day, but I love doing this. Thank you for taking your time to be honest.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I don't get to say that often. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm taking anyone, bro. Speaking of Powder, I think Powder's going to be next week's guest.
Powder's awesome.
Because his alt art challenge was so sick.
Good.
So talk about a good video series or a good video that was.
Yeah, he and nice. I had a video planned for Card Party 2, but because of scheduling conflicts, and we had it planned for months, but again, because things happened at Card Party that neither one of us were expecting, we both just got too busy and we couldn't do the video, which it was a real bummer. I was really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
But we're working on another one for the next Card Party, and we're setting time aside. We will fight people.
That's good. It'll be fun. Yes. It'll be fun. Well, thank you, Gonzo.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys for watching, and you guys know what to do. And hope to keep in touch later, Gonzo. Thank you. Peace.
Later.